Hey guys, Joey from Bulletproof For BJJ here, and today I'm talking about wrist mobility. One of the big things with Jiu-Jitsu is that we spend a lot of time gripping, obviously, and what this does is it makes us really strong in this kind of flex position, but it starts to also build a bit of imbalance at the elbow, and you'll notice this if you get sore forearms or you get elbow issues when strength training. The idea is that with all the gripping work, you're really building these muscles here through the forearm. But what you're missing out on is developing the opposite side, right? So these are the flexors of the wrist and these are the extensors, right? So what happens with a lot of us BJJ folk is that we build super strong, meaty flexors, but then we really don't build much in the way of extensors at all. And that equals imbalance at the elbow, and then that leads to kind of a bit of elbow dysfunction, a bit of pain down the track, kind of nagging, ongoing stuff. It's usually not gonna lead to like catastrophic injuries, but it is gonna be one of those things where you notice, fuck, I've got bad elbows. And I talk to a lot of people in the world of strength training who also train Jiu-Jitsu, and when you're adding in a lot of pull-ups and bent over rows and barbell type, like heavy stuff, this only gets amplified. So what I'm gonna show you today is just a couple of simple exercises that you can do to start to restore a little bit of mobility to this area, and then a couple of simple drills that you can use to strengthen the backside of the forearm. All right, so first thing we'll do is we're just gonna stretch the wrists a little bit. So we're gonna take ourselves to the floor. I'm gonna place my hands at shoulder width, and I'm gonna turn my fingers back towards me. Now I want my index fingers parallel here. So just make sure that you're turning them to that extent. I've got my fingers spread, and once I'm in this position, the elbows are locked, and I'm just hanging back away from the palm. Okay, so you're gonna feel a nice stretch going on, probably through the forearm, through the underside of the wrist here, and we're just hanging out. Now, we don't want to go into any range where we feel pain here. We want to just keep it pretty moderate. So if you are quite tight through this area, this will be a pretty tough drill for you, and you may not be able to lean back as far. Like I said, keep it moderate because we're not looking to aggravate anything, okay? So I'm just moving through some range here, getting those guys loose. And now we're just gonna turn the index fingers out to a 45-degree angle. So we've just changed the hand position slightly, and I continue the drill here. And again, you could spend as much time in these positions as you like, all right? But around 30 to 60 seconds is gonna be plenty. And then the last one, I'm pointing index fingers directly out to the side. And now I can start to move over the front of the wrist as well. So I'm moving in a full 360 here, okay? Now, once I've done a bit of that and I'm feeling good and limber through the wrists, we're now gonna go into this flex position. And this is gonna be really tricky for some of you. If you are particularly tight through the wrist, this drill will be really tough. Know that it will be really tough, and the stretching will feel quite sharp because the muscles that you're stretching are very small, but it will improve over time. And this, I would argue that this drill, for a lot of people who are super tight, will change at a very rapid pace with only 1 to 2 sort of attempts at trying it. So hopefully you get some fast gains from this. So I'm gonna place the back of my hand to the floor. I'm gonna make a fist, and then I'm gonna trap my fist inside my other hand. Okay, now the idea here is that I'm keeping that fist locked in shape. It's gonna wanna come undone, but I'm trying to keep it there. So I use my other hand to cage it in. Now I'm pressing my weight onto the back of that fist, and then I'm just trying to extend my elbow. Now, for those of you who are super tight, this will be about as far as you take it, right? You won't be able to lock your elbow. But for those of you who are a little bit more mobile, and as you progress with this, I really want you to try and push into full elbow lockout, okay? I lock the elbow out and I rotate the elbow pit forward. The fist is still tight, okay? And we're gonna go for 10 reps here, and then we're gonna hold the last rep for 10 seconds, okay? 9, let's say that's 10, and I press and hold. Right? Now really important, fist stays tight, I'm pressing my weight onto the back of it and I'm locking that elbow out. If you ever saw JT did this drill with Josh Hinger a couple of years ago, Josh Hinger, known for savage guillotine game, also super tight through this part of the elbow. And in the video, which is, it's back on our Instagram ages ago, man, Josh noticed like instantaneous relief in the elbow from doing this. So it's a super effective drill. We go to the other side now. I make the fist, trap the fist, and then again, taking that elbow into extension. Notice when I come down, I don't go all the way down to the floor. I just need to go out of the stretch. So really it's just go to that point where the stretch turns off and then continue. Get my 10 reps and then I hold for 10 seconds there, okay? So we've stretched the wrists, we've done a little bit of wrist flexion work. Now we're just gonna add one strength drill that's gonna start to build a little bit of strength through the wrist extensors here, okay? It works like this. I can take my two fists and I place them on the ground. Notice that my arms are parallel, so I'm at a very strict shoulder width position here, okay? Keeping the fist and keeping the elbows as straight as I can, I'm gonna place the back of my palms on the ground, right? Now, this is really tricky if you're super tight. So what you might wanna do is bring the knees closer in so that you can have less weight on the hands, making it possible to do the drill. For those of you who are feeling a little bit more comfortable with it, you can keep the knees back underneath the hips. So, keeping the arms as straight as I can, back of the wrist to the floor, keeping the fingertips curled, I straighten the fingers, and then I curl the fingers back in and I press back to my original position. So I'm going slow on the eccentric, open, and then I press back to the top position. When I do this, I really want to try to use just the strength through my wrist to bring me back to that top position. I don't want to just use my body to bring me out of it, right? I'm actually trying to build this strength where the wrist goes from a flexed position to an extended position, okay? So slow on the way down, press. And for this drill, you're gonna perform 15 reps, okay? It's quite a lot. Now, 15 repetitions, go for 3 sets of that. You probably spend a good couple of minutes doing the stretch at the beginning, then you'll do 1 or 2 sets of the trap fist press, and then you'll perform your 3 sets here. Try this a couple of times a week. Let us know how you go in the comments below. If you are experiencing elbow pain, give this a good few weeks, and I'm certain you'll notice big improvements in that elbow pain moving forward. Cheers, guys.